This place is rather gloomy.
Why don't you lighten the mood for us while we're here then?
I'll see what I can do.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying... I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor. I wonder just how many people have been saved by Shion in some form.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all.
I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here.
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth.
Given everything that's happened to their city?
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign, though it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma, the same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. Let's go find it!
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, their sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives...
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too.
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some... Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana.
Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went.
Pardon me.
guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay. Ah!
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Harrows changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, but their loyalty to their people is also strong.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena. So
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
yeah. I think it's made me realize that the lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgras, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit...
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they?
You and me both. Though we are Renan by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait, don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
place is beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagin. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagin. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagin and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart, and even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. Tarnagin had fallen for Faria, but fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right?
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. You've saved so many people, though you saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always, but I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be alright?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
You can never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
Damn it! Lenegis soldiers!
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Halt! I am Lord Dohalim of Elden Menencia. I command you.
Threats to the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. Take this! Blow them down! Here I come! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Rising Wyvern! You're finished! Rising Falcon! Crush!
The enemy wields arts too.
You'll soon see about that!
Here I come! Try harder! No, you can't! It's over! Locked and loaded! Here I come!
Breath of life! Take this!
I'm not done! It's over! Here I come! Rising Falcon! Destruction!
My wearied companion!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Suffer in silence!
Burn it out! Rising Wyvern! I'm not done! It's over! We're not finished! Destruction! Here I come!
Not in your dreams! Ready to go!
Burn it out!
Make it quick!
Blow them away! My turn! Escape! Destruction! Doubling! In an instant! Impact block! My turn! Release! Fall back! Fire in the hole!
You require a hand.
Locked and loaded! Release!
Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration!
Regenerate!
Denied!
Fire support!
In a bind?
I owe you one. You're mine! I'm not done!
I'm ready!
You're finished! Rising Falcon! Take this! Mow him down! Sonic Thrust!
Heal my wearied companion!
Sonic Thrust! Kill through! Here I go!
Anything in
Fall back! Crush! You're mine!
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Haros.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron.
Choice. Here I come! Strike! It's over! Destruction! Easter!
These ones can run rings around us! Not in your dreams!
You're mine! Damn it! Too fast!
Stand back.
Falcon!
I'll trip it up.
Destruction! Sonic Thrust! Here I come! Strike! I'm not done! Here Here I come! You're mine! I'm not done! Lunar Rondo!
I'm ready! Denied!
No escape! It's over! Here I come! Lunar Rondo! Prepare to be sealed! We did it! Not a chance! No escape! You picked the wrong fight! Rising Wyvern!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Lunar Rondo! Rising Falcon! Take this! It's over! Take this! You're finished! Take this! No, it's not!
Shine! Radiant light! Force of resistance! Take this! How anticlimactic!
Not on my watch!
Here I come!
Light!
Here I come!
Make it rain!
Shion!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Not a chance! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Here I come!
Now you see what I can do!
You're finished! Lunar Rondo! Rising Falcon! I'm not done! Take this! No escape!
Throbs in pain.
Take this! You're finished! Pierce through!
Far enough!
You're mine! Destruction! Here I come!
We can really make weapons with this?
Right, here goes! Strike!
Arc
Shine!
shield!
Radiant light! No further!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for.
Benediction
Get
light.
behind me!
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Allow me to help you.
Rising Wyvern! Strike! Now! Soaring Light Spear! Rising Falcon! Strike! It's over! You're my... Try harder! Not a chance!
Ready
I'm not done!
Armor won't save you!
It's over! Destruction! Try harder! Strike! You're mine! Strike! Crush! Sonic pierce through!
Light.
Sonic thrust! Heal! Destruction! You're mine! No escape! I'm not done! Destruction! Here I come!
Nothing
Take
gets
this!
by me!
I'm not done!
Not in your dreams!
The flame inside me! Ignite!
Breath of life! Feel my weary companion!
I'm not done! Rising Wyvern!
Where are you going?
In a bind?
Take this! I'm not done! Destruction! You're finished! Destruction! Pierce through! You're mine! Sonic thrust! Strike! Sonic thrust! You're mine! I'm not done! Strike! Destruction! Here I come! No escape!
Can carve through armor!
You picked the wrong fight! You're mine! Strike! Take this! No escape! Rising
Ready!
Pierce through! It's over! Try harder! Strike!
If it's in the sky, it's mine! Not in your dreams!
Breath
You're
of life!
mine!
Heal my weary companion!
Cure! Thanks! Strike! It's over! Try hard! Not a chance! Crush! Pierce through! Sonic thrust!
Denied!
This
Can't
one's
get
all
out of
mine.
this!
Ignite! Take this! I'm not done! Crush! Pierce through! Sonic thrust! Pierce through! Sonic thrust! Take this! Strike! Crush! You're mine! Strike! You're mine! No escape! Pierce through! Sonic thrust!
Armor won't save you!
Destruction!
Ready!
Take this! mine! No escape! Destruction! Here I come! You're mine! Destruction! Pierce through! Sonic thrust! Rising light!
Breath of life.
You're mine!
Heal my weary companion.
No escape! Crush! Take the... I'm not done!
It's time.
You're finished! Eat dirt! You're mine!
In a bind.
Confiscated!
I'm not...
Leave the charges to me. Far enough.
Now! You're mine! No escape! You're mine!
This one's mine!
Heal! Thanks! No escape! Crush! No escape! Lunar Rondo! Try harder! My turn! Take this! I'm not done!
Armor won't save you! Suffer in silence.
Ignite! Destruction!
I never miss!
Crush! Pierce through! Heal! I'm not done! Destruction!
Arc sealed!
Here I come! No escape!
Take this.
Crush!
In a bind.
Not in your dreams!
Crush! It's over! Take this!
Shine. Radiant light. Force of
Here I
regeneration.
I'm not done! Thanks! Try harder! The flame inside me! Eat this!
Don't
Denied.
suffer in silence.
Here I come!
Shine. Radiant light.
Crush.
Force of regeneration.
Destruction!
Regenerate.
Crush! Thanks! Sonic!
Don't suffer in silence.
Here I come! Strike! Crush! Rising up!
Nothing will hold.
Take this! No escape! Take this! No
Regenerate.
escape! I owe you one! Destruction!
Another incantation ruined.
I never miss!
I can carve through armor.
You're mine!
Breath of life.
Here goes!
Heal my wearied
You're
companion.
mine!
Cure.
Strike! It's on! Burn!
Make it rain. Winwell. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
Hey, I'm pretty lucky.
Right, here goes!
Grant me the
I see one, eh?
Inferno crossing. Can't get out of this. I'm gone. You see this coming?
Take down their defenses!
Not on my watch!
Shield from calamity. I'm gone. Easy ensnaring to me. Split it open.
Be my guest! You're finished!
Eagle ray.
Astral Heart?
That's my cue!
Shut him down! This is looking good!
Eat dirt!
No!
That frigid
Can't end here!
Come on. I can carve through armor.
My field!
Down. Look sharp. From beyond. I'm on. This vengeance. Inferno Pulse. Hurricane Strike. Go again. Going in. There you
Not
go.
done yet!
Activity.
I'm not done! Lunar Rondo! Rising Phoenix!
No further.
We're not finished!
Look sharp. Take this. Regeneration.
Lunar Rondo!
Allow me to help. This one's mine.
Rising Phoenix!
Hurricane. Greenwell. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
My heal my wearied companion. Cure.
Thanks!
We can really make weapons with this?
see what you've got.
You got spirit!
Lionheart! Not today! Start up!
Super swallow down! This one's mine! So much for talking it out!
Now you'll learn!
I'm ready! I owe you one!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! No!
Hurricane Strike!
Dragon Strike! You're finished! How about this?
Crescent Moon! Swallow dance!
In the groove! Catapult! You're mine! Catapult! Try this! Blending Flash!
Eat this! Solid Hurricane!
Take this! I'm ready! Blow them away! Onward and upward.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Is someone making them stand guard over the Forbidden Zone?
Go back and down! Eat this one! That freaking doesn't care!
From Calamity.
Too shy to come back!
Another incantation ruin.
Swallow dance! Flaming Meteor! Here and now!
Blending Flash!
Ripping you apart!
Strike! Try this! Blending Flash!
Being interrupted.
This one's mine!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Benediction light.
No escape! I owe you one!
Smash you!
Their arcs were interrupted.
Can't get out of this!
This one's mine! This one's mine! Not on my watch!
Not today!
Rotating pile driver.
Infiltrate
Spear! Rising Phoenix! Take this!
Shine.
Meteor!
Force of regeneration. Shine. Radiant
Pierce
light.
through.
Force of
Sonic
regeneration.
throw!
Shine. Radiant light. Force of regeneration. Regenerate.
Down! You're all done! Hurricane
No escape!
In your hands now.
You have
You're mine!
That freaking does it!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara!
Here I come!
Swallow dance! I'll finish you here and now! This one's
Not
mine!
done!
One
Try
more!
this!
Out of the woods, it seems.
Blending
Too
Flash!
shy to come around!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Shine.
Arcane Light!
No further.
On guard!
Eat this!
Far enough!
The flame inside me! You're...
Not in your dreams!
Shine. Radiant light. Force of regeneration.
Not today!
Hurricane Strike!
Regeneration.
In the groove! Take this!
Allow me to help you.
Hurricane
It's over.
Strike!
Crush!
They smite
this!
with blackened blade.
There you go!
See what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
How about this?
It's over! Take this! Take this!
Armor won't save us. Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Together, there is nothing that can stop us.
Indeed. As one, we are unrivaled.
And that is our greatest strength.
It's on! Take this! I'm not done!
No further!
Hurricane Strike!
You're done!
Start up!
Go away! Captivity!
Hurricane Strike!
Elusive deity!
Take this!
Hitting pile
Try harder!
Shield from calamity. I couldn't make it in time.
Here goes! Inferno Cross! This one's mine!
Now, in the groove, begin!
Not in your dreams!
Elusive deity!
I can handle it!
Eagle Ray! That's much better.
Can't get out of this!
Not done yet!
Hurricane Strike! Hurricane!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Dragon Shell!
You're mine!
Heal my
I'm
weary
not done!
companion. Another incantation ruined.
Strike! It's over!
Everlasting
Glacial Fire!
Negative gate!
You're mine!
This
Damn.
one's all mine!
Try this!
Eagle Assault! Shine!
Blending
Radiant
Blast!
Light! Force of Regeneration! Regenerate!
Sonic Not dead! I'm not done! It's over!
Flaming Meteor!
Crush! No escape!
Switch
Rising Phoenix!
Negative gate!
Eat dirt!
First strike! Sonic Thrust!
Do it!
Not
I'm
dead!
gone.
I'm not
Now
done!
you see what I can do!
No escape! It's over!
This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
I'll do my
Grant
best!
me the strength to march on.
This one's mine!
Far enough!
A showdown between a blade and fist!
Bring him down! No escape! Sonic Thrust! Pierce through!
Tiger Blade!
Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! It's over!
It's time!
You're mine! I'm not done! Release form!
Going in!
Pierce through!
Storm.
Eat this!
Take this!
You're mine!
Hurricane!
It's over!
Beast Assault!
I'm ready! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
I'm
ready!
No!
This one's mine!
Anything in the
This one's got your name on it!
Action to action! Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration!
Pierce through!
Regenerate!
Finish!
It's
Run! Sonic Thrust! Form!
Here goes!
Destruction!
Make it ready!
In an instant! Impact Block!
Looks like we won.
Backing down!
This one's mine!
Ignite! I owe you one.
It's time!
Stardust!
I can read your moves like a book!
Shield from calamity!
I'm not done!
Flaming Meteor!
Can't move!
Oh, come on! You have to hold on!
Carve through us!
My
Can't get out of
field!
bed!
Hurricane Strike! That'll bring you down!
Confiscated!
On guard! Glacial Hurricane! Hurricane Blade! Good shot! One more!
Not done yet!
Going in!
Take this! You're mine!
That's where you got it! That's where you got it!
I'm on it! Take this! Here you are!
Take this!
Front!
Force of regeneration!
Stardust!
My blood burn out!
We're on a roll now!
I'm not done! We're not finished! It's over!
Let it go!
Instant deity!
You're mine! Rising Phoenix!
Shine! Radiant light! Force of
You're mine!
regeneration!
Eat dirt!
This one's mine!
Incantation!
We did it!
Not care! Allow me to help you!
Front!
Take this!
You're finished! Pierce
Flaming
through!
Meteor!
Now I'm real mad!
I'm not done! Sonic Thrust!
That'll bring you down!
Pierce through!
Confiscated!
This one's
It's over!
mine!
Fire in the hole!
Now I'm in the groove! Hurricane Strike!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Take this!
I've been doing really great lately.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imeris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dahnan astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion.
Yeah, it was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
A summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when—
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known Faria to control noodles like that before.
How about with the stone that looks suspiciously like a master sword?
Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Tugans, then we get some answers.
Aim for the weak point! Tiger Blade!
Here I come!
Hurricane Punch!
In a bind?
That's it!
All good things come to an end.
Try harder! Now!
No.
Here we go again! Sonic Thrust!
Florida! Take
Sonic Thrust!
Heal my weary companion. Cure.
This one's mine!
Strike!
I'll finish you right now!
Strike! Escape!
I feel
No further!
Now I'm in the groove!
I'll smash you!
I could do without this pain!
Resonate with the earth.
I'll tear you apart!
Stalagmite.
Rising Wyvern!
Taking you apart.
It's wide open!
It won't escape me.
Pierce through!
Stalagmite.
Flaming Meteor!
Swallow dance.
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kitara.
Blaze on fire!
No escape!
Piercing rock! Dragon Shadow!
In a bind.
Crescent Moon!
No escape! Rising Wyvern!
Shine. Radiant light. Force of regeneration.
Rising Phoenix! I owe you one.
Inferno Crossing!
Here I come! No escape! Rising Wyvern!
Denied! Attack time!
Now you see what I can do.
Here I come!
Hurricane Flush!
Stalagmite.
Here goes the dust! Unguard!
Hell!
Make it rain!
Shield.
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
Don't suffer in silence.
Wits about you, people! Down! You're up!
Shine! Radiant light! Regeneration!
Try harder!
Being interrupted.
Can't move!
I couldn't make it in time.
Now you've gone and ticked me off!
Here we go again! From beyond! Infused! Vanquish soul with light! Resuscitation!
Coyote!
I can carve through armor!
You're mine! Rising Wyvern! Rising Phoenix!
No dawn shall break this night! Eagle Ray!
Nice out.
Here I come!
Rods and ready!
Shine! Radiant light!
Confiscated!
Take this!
Meteor!
Here we go again!
I'm not
Elusive
done!
deity!
Ignite! Rising Wyvern!
Black
I'm not
Now
done!
in the groove!
You're finished!
Flaming meteor!
Tear through! I'm not done!
Shine! Radiant light! No! Regeneration!
Can't end here!
Come on, smash you!
Have to hold on!
Beyond! Imbue this
Igneous
thing with
discharge!
soul! Resuscitation! Here we go
Beast
again!
assault! Silent hurricane!
Take this! I'm not done!
In a bind? Watch it!
Use its weak point to take it down.
All together, everyone! Tiger blade!
You're mine!
Trying to take us out.
It was nice while it lasted.
If it's in the sky, it's mine! Confiscated!
I owe you one.
Hurricane strike! Denied!
First strike! Try this!
Take this!
Can't move!
No! Forgive me. This is my...
Anything in armor is all mine! I'll try to do the stuff! Here we go again! What? Super Swallow Dance! I'm just here to start!
Talon hurricane! Crescent Inferno punch!
What is
Not
this?
done yet! Here I come!
Heal!
It's in your hands now.
Aw, too shy to come over? Here, let me help!
Try it! No! Again! Remove!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Now it's just her!
Faria! Can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more. Dohalim!
Forgive me.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case...
I'll take her off your hands.
You?
Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnagan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, He was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria,
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her.
somebody got to her to strike back at me, and the same goes for you as well.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnagin, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. Not for those already past, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can...
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohal.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve.
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well. I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team, right? Let's move on. What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, It was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's...
But you can't say that for sure!
Cut it out!
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way. Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns. As well as my own past, I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion and Dana. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Danan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Course. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only Sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey!
It looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should... Look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Naori,
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori.
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... if I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.